Clara had always lived in the quiet shadows of the city, waking before dawn to catch crowded buses, carrying with her the quiet dignity of someone who worked tirelessly without ever being truly seen, a nanny whose days blurred between tending to other people's children, cooking meals she couldn't afford for herself, and hiding away the worry in her eyes whenever she thought of her mother lying ill in a tiny apartment that smelled of medicine and dampness, and yet despite the weight pressing on her heart, she still carried a spark of kindness that refused to be extinguished, the kind of kindness that would soon change her life forever. For one late afternoon, as the sun dipped lower in the sky and bathed the city park in hues of gold and rose, Clara, with her worn shoes and plain dress, wandered to the benches for a brief moment of rest, when her ears caught the sharp sound of sobs, the kind that sliced through the chatter of families and the laughter of children playing nearby, and she turned to see a little girl sitting all alone on a bench, no older than 6, clutching a small stuffed rabbit so tightly her knuckles were white, her blonde curls tangled by the wind, her bright dress dusted with dirt, and Clara's heart tightened instantly, for she knew that kind of fear, the fear of being alone in a world too big and too cold, and though no one else stopped, too busy in their own worlds, Clara hurried forward and knelt beside the girl, her voice soft and trembling with maternal instinct as she asked, "Sweetheart, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" And the little girl lifted teary blue eyes to her, stammering between hiccups that her name was Lily and that she had lost her father, that she had turned around for just a moment and suddenly the crowd had swallowed him whole, and now she was terrified she would never see him again, and Clara's heart broke as she brushed tears away with gentle fingers, pulling the child into her arms, whispering that she was safe now, that no matter what happened she would not leave her side, and rocking her gently the way her own mother once rocked her when she was small and hungry in the cold winters, humming a lullaby that carried the warmth of home. And slowly Lily's sobs quieted, her trembling softened, her little arms wrapping around Clara's neck with a trust so complete it stunned her, and all the while Clara's eyes scanned the park for a frantic parent, unaware that the man searching desperately for Lily was Alexander Hayes, a name whispered in boardrooms, splashed across magazine covers, a billionaire CEO whose empire stretched across continents, a man with sharp eyes and a sharper reputation, known for closing deals that toppled rivals and building towers that scraped the sky. But in this moment none of that mattered, for he was only a father consumed with panic, weaving through the crowd, calling his daughter's name until his voice broke, his expensive suit damp with sweat, his mind flashing with memories of losing his wife years ago and the unbearable thought of losing Lily too. And then at last, like a miracle, his gaze fell upon the scene by the fountain, his precious daughter safe in the arms of a stranger, a woman whose plain clothes and tired face spoke of poverty, yet whose embrace radiated such warmth and strength that Alexander stopped in his tracks, breathless, and for a moment simply watched as Lily's sobs melted into soft sniffles, her small head nestled on Clara's shoulder as though she belonged there, and slowly he stepped forward, his polished shoes clicking against the stone path, his eyes never leaving the two of them, and Clara, sensing his presence, looked up nervously, expecting perhaps anger or suspicion, for in her experience the wealthy rarely trusted the poor, but instead she was met with a pair of eyes that were wet with relief, a voice that trembled as he breathed, "Lily," and at once the child's head lifted, her face lighting up as she cried, "Daddy," leaping into his arms, and Alexander held her so tightly it seemed as though he would never let go, whispering apologies, pressing kisses to her hair, his entire world restored in that single embrace. Yet even as he held her he couldn't ignore the woman who had given his daughter back to him, and when Lily turned in his arms and said, "Daddy, she helped me, she made me safe, she's my angel," Alexander's chest constricted, because though he was surrounded daily by people who wanted something from him, his money, his power, his name, this woman had given without expectation, and that rare truth etched itself into his heart, and so he asked softly, almost awkwardly, "What's your name?" And Clara, shifting nervously, replied with humility, "Clara, sir, I'm just a nanny." But Alexander shook his head as Lily clung back to Clara's hand, refusing to let go, and he knew then this meeting was not by chance but something deeper, a twist of fate that placed a poor nanny and a millionaire CEO on the same path. And as the park lights flickered on, bathing them in a warm glow, Clara excused herself, thinking her part in the story was finished, but Alexander's voice stopped her, gratitude laced with curiosity, and though Clara walked away that night, her heart heavy with memories of the frightened girl who trusted her so quickly, she had no idea that this was only the beginning of a journey that would change everything, for Alexander Hayes was not a man who let miracles slip through his fingers, and he would find her again, because somehow, deep down, he knew that his daughter's angel was meant to be far more than just a passing stranger. And to everyone listening, remember this: life can change in a heartbeat, compassion can cross the widest distances, and sometimes the smallest act of kindness can open doors to futures brighter than you can imagine. So if this story touches your heart, stay with us, because what happens next will leave you in awe, and don't forget to Subscribe, for the journey of Clara, Lily, and Alexander has only just begun.